Hello and welcome to another video in the lecture series entitled Advanced Biomaterials. So today's video is going to be really interesting because in today's video we'll be talking about one of the most recent developments in the field of material science and materials technology, that is nanomaterials and nanotechnology. Now these nanomaterials have emerged with the promise of revolutionizing the healthcare and therapeutic industry. So if we talk about nanomaterials, what do we mean by it? So nanomaterials are the materials which have one dimension which is less than 100 nanometers. So 1 nanometer corresponds to 10 to the power minus 9 meters. So in order to visualize such materials, often the conventional light microscope falls short. So in order to visualize them, we opt for electron microscopes, and in order to visualize and analyze their surfaces or their morphologies, we go for what is known as a scanning tunneling microscope. So this is one of the best techniques which is available today to visualize nanomaterials with the highest resolution. So why are we looking at nanomaterials, or why are they important in today's world? So when we undergo a transition from a bulk material to nanomaterials, there are few changes which happens in them. So the first change which happens is their surface area to volume ratio increases. So if we consider a cube and it has, for a given mass or a given volume of this same cube, if we can cut the cube along an axis, we will get two cubes with two extra surfaces. So that is how the overall surface area goes on increasing as we divide the material from its macro scale, micro to nano scale. So it causes even 1 billionth time increase in the surface area to volume ratio when we go to the nano scale. That is why nanomaterials are more important in their applications compared to the bulk materials. So this also causes some changes in their properties, some of which include this increase in surface area to volume ratio increases their increases their contact with a given surface. So with a greater contact area for a given surface, their ability to be used as catalyst become more prominent, in which they can interact more provide more surface area for interaction with a given surface, and therefore they can increase the speed of a chemical reaction dramatically. Also, apart from their use as catalysts, they have the ability of showing high adsorption, which is a surface phenomenon. So with more surface area, they can absorb more materials on their surface. That is why nanomaterials such as activated charcoal are often used in wastewater treatments. Again, nanomaterials, when a given material is brought down to its nanoscale, they can influence other material properties as well. Such other material properties include the overall melting point of a material, and also another very important property which is influenced by materials in the nanoscale are the optical properties, such as adsorption and fluorescence. So if we take the example of metallic gold, most of us have seen, maybe all of us have seen gold in its bulk metallic state, which is yellow in color and it is bright and lustrous. But if we synthesize gold nanoparticles, that is entirely different in its visual optical properties. A solution of gold nanoparticles has an intense red or intense reddish violet maroon coloration. So this dramatic change in the optical properties in a material from its bulk to its nanoscale enables the nanomaterials to be used as visual tools or as tools to visualize certain conditions such as tumors. Also, there is this carbon nanoparticles which are used as excellent tools for as they can be used as probes for bioimaging. So carbon nanoparticles have this property of autofluorescence, that is, if we are exciting them with light at a particular wavelength, they will show emission at a greater wavelength. So that is why these carbon nanoparticles can be used as probes for bioimaging. For example, if we can introduce carbon nanoparticles inside a biological system and we can target them to a particular cell, then with exciting the carbon nanoparticles from an external radiation source, they will emit that radiation inside the cells, and therefore we can determine the location of the carbon nanoparticles inside the cell. So these have emerged as excellent tools in the diagnostic and the therapeutic industry. So we'll be discussing about carbon nanoparticles in detail in the upcoming lecture videos. Also, one of the more important properties of these nanomaterials are the change in the electrical properties. Again, if we take the example of carbon, so carbon, if we know, it is in its bulk state, it is an insulator, it is a non-conductor of electricity. But if we go in the nanoscale and if we synthesize a nanomaterial form of carbon known as graphene, so graphene has shown good electrical properties as well, and it can be used in biosensors devices for detecting any analyte. That is why this nanomaterial scale in carbon can actually increase its electrical conductivity in certain materials. So these nanotechnology is used to tailor the properties of materials which are used in designing. So using these nanomaterials, we can actually alter the properties of the materials, from the bulk materials which we are trying to synthesize. That is why the concept comes of the engineered nanomaterials, which is very important in today's therapeutic or the diagnostic industry, because we can synthesize nanomaterials based on our requirements, and these nanomaterials will show the properties which we intend to use for a particular application. So again, these nanomaterials in the medical industry, the very important criteria for use of these nanomaterials are that the targeted drug delivery can be designed using nanomedicines. So what are nanomedicines for, and how can targeted drug delivery be achieved using such nanomedicines? Let me give you a brief example. So as we can see that we can use nanomaterials for better visualization and bioimaging techniques. So if we can use a nanomaterial and we can conjugate it on its surface certain specific chemical moieties such as antibodies which are showing specificity to a particular location or a tissue type, that is why for cancer therapy nanomaterials can be used as drug delivery vehicles. So we can coat the surface of a nanomaterial with antibodies which is very specific to that tumor type, and so if we inject them inside the bloodstream, if we introduce them inside the body, they can be targeted to that particular tumor, and upon reaching that tumor, the nanoparticles, which will also be conjugated to a drug molecule, that nanomaterial will undergo degradation and the drug molecule will be released inside the tumor cells and only kill the tumor cells, and they will not in any way affect the healthy tissues. So that is how actually nanomedicines can be used for targeted drug delivery to specific cells. So using all these applications, we can actually synthesize composite materials, because nanomaterials have been used in the fabrication of different materials, because we have seen how they can influence or they can change, they can alter the surface or the bulk properties of the materials. So nanomaterials, if we are using them in the synthesis of bulk materials such as composite materials can be obtained, such as we can use nanomaterials for the synthesis of different polymers. So polymer nanomaterial composites, we can tailor the overall properties of the polymers, such as their melting point, their conductivity, their stability, and so many other properties. So that is how this nanomaterials can as an important consideration in the field of biomaterials and biomaterial technology, because we can use them in so many different applications, as we have seen. So in the upcoming videos, we will be looking at carbon nanoparticles, their synthesis, their characterization, and some of their applications, because carbon nanoparticles have been used in fabrication of several modified or altered biomaterials, which are showing very promising leads in different parts of today's industrial technology, and even in the diagnostic and therapeutic sector. So that will be all for today's video. Hope you enjoyed it. Thank you. See you in the next one.